Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris. I just need to do a quick on-the-fly edit here, and boom. Okay, I had to change the number. Today is episode, if you can, man, I mean, for all you hyper Christians out there like myself, hang on to your seats. 777. Oh yeah, it's the triple sevens today. How cool is that? I remember it was 111 days ago. It was 666, or not days, but episodes ago, and here we are at 777. So pretty exciting day for DDPC in the world of my own little mind. Okay, cheers. Good morning, everybody. God bless you, and welcome today. So let's see, where am I at? I got a lot to share this morning, but I want to tell you. So yesterday was like a marathon day for us here at the Willis house. We got up super early in the morning. I did DDPC yesterday, but we had already been up making pies and mashed potatoes and carrots and mushrooms and some other dishes, and then we packed everything up. The ridiculously overpriced and in my opinion unsuccessfully designed water coolers, the Yeti coolers. Sorry if you're from Yeti, and I'm not trying to discredit you, but here's the thing. I mean, you pay like $300 for a cooler that you can fit your big toe in. I mean, it weighs 80 pounds, has no wheels. Anyway, my point is this. I won one last year. I won one in a drawing, and so I have one, and I have tried to figure out what to use this thing for, because literally, like, it's so heavy. I don't want to take it out on a boat. I don't want to, I don't really camp. I have camped. I don't dislike camping, but I don't do it often. And when their big claim to fame is that they're bear proof. And I'm like, okay, but if I need a cooler to protect me from a bear getting into my food, then I should not be in his environment. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in his space, so I've got bigger problems than my cooler. So anyway, but I have this thing, and so the one feature that I have figured out that it works for is it really does insulate well, and it keeps hot food really hot. And so we had packed there's not a lot of space on the inside, so you have to transfer all the food into smaller containers, but then we pack it in and close that baby up. And so we had to travel. It was about a little over 4 hours to our destination yesterday morning, to my brother-in-law's house up in New Hampshire. And so we but man, when we opened that thing up, it was like literally steaming hot, and I was like, wow, that was really impressive. So hats off to Yeti for that. I finally figured out a good application for your 400-pound cooler heater. So anyway, but why do I tell you that? I tell you that because we went up. We had just a really, really long day. Went and saw the north side of our family. Spent some time with them for Christmas, and I got home really late last night. And so it was getting up this morning was a little bit challenging, but here we are, and we're still in the kind of sliding into the Christmas home, right? Sliding into home. And I will tell you, like, for me, I was talking to one of my brother-in-laws yesterday, And I said, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, because for me, it was this year, Christmas being on a Sunday, and of course we had our Christmas Eve services, which I love all of it. I love church. I love to be at church. I love to preach. I love all of it. So I'm not complaining, but it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort, and it's a lot of study, and it takes a lot physically, emotionally, and spiritually out of you to public speak when you do it, from a place of passion. And so between that and, folding in family events and festivities, and and opening presents and all the things, all the stuff, I've not had any real break personally. So we did Sunday, and then we went somewhere Sunday night with family locally, and then Monday morning we got up early, did the food, did the Yeti, went to New Hampshire, were there all day, and drove back last night. And so I was telling my brother-in-law, I said, I am so looking forward to Tuesday. And he's like, why? What do you have going on Tuesday? And I said, nothing. I am turning off my phone. I am going to spend time with my kids. We don't have another thing to wrap. We don't have anywhere that we have to be. I'm just going to embrace my family, and I cannot wait. And so anyway, so it got me thinking about, about this whole idea, with, Christmas and all that Christmas entails. And excuse me, just kind of getting my notes up here. And here's the thing. There's just a lot, right? Christmas is wonderful, but it's a lot. And for most of us at this point, 2 days after, for most of us, the celebrations are pretty much over, just like for me, like it's now, it's we got to start turning our attention to taking down the tree and taking down the decorations and kind of reordering life. But I mean, all of that insane holiday travel, it's over. The cooking will normalize. All the extra planning, the extra places, it will normalize. Cleaning, all the incessant cleaning and the festivities and the gift giving and the decorating and the wrapping, and all of it's hit its climax. And now we're kind of left with the aftermath, right? It's like Chernobyl at your house, and everything is just kind of out of order and in disarray. But you got boxes in corners, and leftover wrapping clippings that are found underneath the couch. And anyway, so there's recovery, right? There's recovery from all the lead up that Christmas presented, right? So for many people, it started like in November at some point. Maybe it's the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know. Everybody's kind of got their starting point, but all the purchasing, the planning, the prepping, all of that, there's this huge lead up to the day, right? Or the weekend. And now that has passed. And with all of that climax over, what do you do with the aftermath? What do you do with after the event? Think about that for a minute, because it's a reality that all of us deal with. And you know what? It's a reality that happened at the first Christmas, because if you think about it, we've been reading out of Matthew and Luke for over a month now, between DDPC and Sunday services and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And, the shepherds had this interaction with the angelic hosts and an angelic choir singing in the fields. The Magi followed a star, traveled all the way from the east. Simeon, the high priest, had been given a promise from the Holy Spirit that he would see the Messiah before he died, and was able to be there at the circumcision and the dedication of Jesus. Anna was a widow and a prophetess, in that for decades, I mean, some scholars say she was over 100 years old. And like, if she got married when she was 13, that she would have been 104 after she lost her husband 7 years into their marriage, and that she was a widow. And so from that point on, so like from 20 to 104, because she for 80 years, 84 years, she was in the temple, and she fasted and she prayed for the Messiah, and now she sees the Messiah, and her response is, now I can die. Now my life is complete. I've seen him. It happened. It's the lead up to Christmas. Jesus has arrived, and you got all of these events, right, that surround the arrival of that first Christmas. And Jesus is finally born, and the harking herald angels singing, right? And he's here. The long-awaited Redeemer of mankind arrives, and heaven has now touched earth. And so now what? Now what? What happens after? After that fateful night? What happened with the wise men when they returned? We don't hear anything else about them. What happened to the shepherds? Did they go back to their boring humdrum life in the field? And I mean, they had this moment, but what now? What of Simeon and Anna? What did they just go back to their everyday lives until they were ushered into heaven? I mean, clearly this was a high point in all of these participants' lives. Every character who participated in the nativity, this was absolutely a high point, like the high point in their life. So what happens next? I think about as we are about to turn the calendar into a new year, and in 2023, we have a lot that leads up in the new year, and there's always these fresh starts, and there's the resolutions and all that. But then you roll right into February, right? And so we have an event that captivates the attention of our country like no other, and that's the Super Bowl, right? And right now, where there's a lot of teams that are in the hunt for positions in the playoffs to be able to compete in the Super Bowl, and then for weeks after, there's going to be parties and viewing parties and get-togethers, and bars are going to get more and more full as we get closer and closer to those final games, and bets are going to starting to be made by people, and merchandise sales are going to skyrocket, and as a respective team and respective cities climb their ranks, and there's going to be more talk and more hubbub and more stats and more distraction, and excuse me, you're going to hear more and more on TV and radio and online, and people are going to be brandishing their team loyalties and talking about it around the water cooler at work, and you're going to see more discussion about players and coaches and strategies and interviews, and on will the anticipation build and build and build. And then finally on February 12th, 2023 in Glendale, Arizona, there will be two teams that will arrive, one a champion of the NFC and one a champion of the AFC, and they will play head to head and spend about 15 minutes of actual play time on 100 yards of grass, and it will captivate the attention of hundreds of millions of people around the world, and will be this monumental event that happens, billions of dollars, and that will be spent, and at the end there will be a winner, there'll be a celebration, there'll be a champion, and one city will rejoice and the other city will get burned down to the ground, because that's what we do in this crazy country of ours. And then Monday morning, it will be back to work, and by Tuesday, the high will be pretty much over, and by Wednesday, we won't even be talking about it much anymore. And a year from now, and in 2026, and in 2030, only a handful of people will even remember who played in the Super Bowl in 2023, much less know who won, who lost, who is the MVP. It will just be another blip on the calendar and another piece of American athletic history. It's That's how life works. And so my question is this how that first Christmas was? Was it like this celestial Super Bowl? Is that how your Christmas was? I hope not. And so my challenge to you today is to do what Mary did. In Luke chapter 2 and verse 16, it reads this way through 20. It says, so they hurried off, and they found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. This is the shepherds. And when they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told about his child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. Watch this, but verse 19. Everybody's amazed. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's, oh, the Messiah. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying, praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. Listen, Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Folks, we have got to get to the place where when we talk about Jesus and when Jesus talks to us, when the Holy Spirit prompts our, that we treasure those things and think about them often and recount them and remember. See, Joseph and Mary alone experienced obviously permanent change in their lives. I mean, the miraculous event of conceiving the Messiah as a virgin, that set that aside for a minute. They just had a baby, right? So now they've got a child to raise. And as Jeanette reminded us on Christmas Eve, a baby changes everything. So their lives are forever changed just by the fact that there's a baby now in the mix. But he's no ordinary baby. And the truth of his miraculous birth and the truth of his majestic reign were in some ways, and still are in some ways, shrouded by the uneventful normalcy of life. For Mary and Joseph, it would be 30 years before there was another significant. Remember, Jesus didn't turn water into wine until he was 30 years old, right? There was nothing really to punctuate that first Christmas. There was no reunion of the shepherds. There was no magi sending postcards. How's baby Yeshua doing? Right? I mean, for 30 years, there was no miracles, no supernatural signs and wonders, no angelic visitations, nothing really to write about, except that he did have that moment in the temple at 12 years old when he was teaching in the temple. It's pretty impressive, and that gets written about, but nothing else really significant happens for 30 years. But Mary treasured these things and pondered them in her heart. And so let that be a lesson to you today in the aftermath of Christmas, in the hectic and the happy and the ups and the downs and the crazy of it all, because that's a high point for us. And we're going to have another spiritual high point at Easter, right? And maybe there'll be some other high points in between, but life is what happens between the high points. And most of our life is lived in the work to day realities. But none of these tangible realities can touch the intangible truth that Jesus has come. The Messiah, the Savior, has come. And because he was born and lived a sinless life and died the unblemished sacrifice, you and I can enjoy the peace of God and peace with God. And it doesn't just end there. It's not like, okay, here's your peace. We can walk in that, and that yields favor, and that yields miracles, and that yields the supernatural, and his goodwill will be evident in our everyday lives. See, he came and he was not received, right? He wasn't received by Herod. He wasn't received in the inn. He wasn't received by society. He was not received. He was received by the shepherds. And I just think about, I was thinking about this whole thought about kind of the aftermath of Christmas. And I came across this author by the name, just goes by the one word name, Chona. And she writes this, and I'm going to end with a little paragraph from her writing. She says, Jesus Christ must rejoice during Christmas because many people remember his birth, life, and atonement. But what he truly wants is for us to remember him always throughout the year. He wants us to keep the Christmas spirit, which is Christ's spirit in our lives. He wants us to continue to be a little kinder, a little more forgiving every day. He wants the joy we feel during Christmas to stretch until next Christmas. He wants the hope of his coming and atonement to be ever present in our lives. When we reflect on why the Christmas season is the most wonderful time of the year, we must conclude that it is because of people giving of themselves to others. They are more compassionate and considerate. They serve more. They treat others with greater kindness. They focus more on the Savior, Jesus Christ. Count their blessings, share their resources with those in need, and their efforts are fixed more often on making the people they love happy. These are acts of love that we can continue even after the Christmas season has passed. These acts of service are what warm hearts and enrich lives every single season of the year. He expects us to keep the Christmas spirit, his spirit, in our hearts and lives after Christmas. And that's really, I just want to challenge you today. Think about this. Treasure these things and ponder them in your heart. If you have kids, look at them and treasure them and ponder these moments in your heart. I promise you, I'm at a weird stage in my life where, my girls are, they're 20 and almost 22, and one's engaged, and both of them are about to graduate from college, and life is changing. And we're dealing with the reality that this Christmas was the last Christmas that I'm going to have my family, my intact, immediate family at home. Next year, Shaylin will be with Josh and wherever they live and whatever they're doing, right? And who knows how, where Ashton will be in another couple years, and and Russell grows up, and before long. So my point is this: make the moments that you have count, right? And treasure these things, ponder them in your heart. Don't be in such a rush for the next big thing, for the next high point. Live the moment that you're in right now to the fullest, and remember that God is faithful, and he was faithful to 1,000 generations. He will never leave you or forsake you. He's got you. He's got your family. He's got your finances. He's got it. He'll take care of you. He will take care of you. Focus on what's important. Focus on what actually matters. And ponder those things and rejoice in them and be thankful for them. So let that be a lesson. Hope it does. Hope it helps you guys out. Tom and Colette, good to see you. Lauren Green, Rocco Baldino, Melissa Moore, Scott Blakeman. God bless you, buddy. I'm wearing your shirt. You can't see on the back here. It's the shirt you guys gave me for Christmas. Thank you. Kim Sikelski, Lauren Lopez, Tammy Schiavi, good to see you. Timothy Jones, good to see you, bud. Deb Click, Daniel Lozovikas, Don Oled, Athena Defels, Yvonne and Denise, Kim Zabrowski, Cindy Wood, Lenny Pace, Narda Allen, Jacqueline Campoli, Scott Dobler, Karen Archambault, Janetta Dobler, God bless you. Good to see all of you guys this beautiful morning. Let's see, is there anybody else I'm missing here? Athena, I think I said hello to you already. You are saying hello to each other, which is wonderful. Eileen Toma, good to have you on this morning. Michelle, God bless you. Renee Galuzzi, Fabrizio, good to see you, my friend. God bless all of you guys. Welcome and thank you. I hope today was a blessing. Good morning, Grace Jimenez. Nice to see you today. Erica, God bless you. Welcome. Shannon Walker, nice to have you on with us this morning, Shannon. I know you guys had quite the house full this weekend, so thank you for taking time. Amen. Let's see. Jacob Sanchez, nice to see you, Jacob. God bless you. Always nice to see you online. God bless. And I think that's all that I see on Facebook and YouTube. Tom Keefe, Michelle Allen, Elizabeth Orlando, Tony Fetchy, Kathy Sikelski, Kate Williams, God bless you, Elizabeth Orlando, Michelle, God bless. Fuse, young adults on with us. God bless you. Diane Riley, thank you for being on today. Janine Bainez, nice to have you. Melissa Morse, good to see you as well. God bless all of you guys. Thank you for this day. Okay, big important announcement. Spread the news, please. I am taking the rest of this week off, so I'm not going to be doing DDPC tomorrow or Thursday. Tomorrow and Thursday, I am out. The reason why is because this is the last couple of days I'm going to have with my girls before they go back to school. And I go back into work, and they're working, and then we're ships passing. And so I'm going to be spending every waking minute I can with them. And of course, while preparing, getting ready for Sunday and the like. But please forgive me, but I'm going to be taking tomorrow and Thursday. Will not be doing DDPC. So ponder this message in your heart, treasure it, let it last you. I'll be back on Monday. All right, guys. God bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. God bless, and I will see you next week, next year. God bless you.